Good morning and welcome to our Apex Atlanta webinar. My name is Scott Luton and I serve as past president for the Atlanta chapter. I will also serve as your host for today's session. We have a wonderful speaker lined up for today who will share valuable perspective on mobile technology and its growing role in the supply chain world. But more about our speaker, Pooja Sankara, in a moment. As always, we're glad you've chosen to join us here today. So let's tackle our ground rules. First, all of our attendees will be on mute as we're looking to optimize the audio experience. Now, with that said, let's make it as interactive as possible, so please do submit your questions via the chat toolbar as shown. We'll hold all the questions until the end and answer as many as possible. Finally, a PDF of today's presentation and the recording will be sent out to each registrant after today's webinar. As I mentioned, today's webinar is presented by Apex Atlanta. As for Apex, we'd like to share a little more information around who we are and what we do. Apex is the premier industry association dedicated to end-to-end supply chain management. Our organization offers membership, a plethora of education opportunities, industry-leading research and publications, and widely recognized professional certifications. But more than anything else, Apex is about people. We have 45,000 members in over 100 countries. Apex has 195 chapters serving throughout North America alone. The Atlanta chapter has been serving the metro Atlanta area for more than 50 years. We serve almost 700 members that represent companies across the spectrum of industries, including manufacturing, distribution, technology, professional services, to name a few. Our chapter offers a variety of valuable programming, such as professional development opportunities, education and certification classes to include our CSCP, CPIM, and CLTD credentials, networking meetings, plant tours, a career center, and much more. If you want more information on how we can serve you or your organization, please visit our website, apexatlanta.org, or please feel free to reach out to our chapter president, Chris Barnes, directly. We are happy to help. Okay, so before we get started with the presentation, I'd like to introduce a special guest. Apex Atlanta is proud to partner once again with the Georgia Logistics Summit in 2017. We are very pleased to have Mr. Rob Dillon join us this morning. Rob serves as chair of the 2017 Executive Steering Committee for the Georgia Logistics Summit. He's going to share a few details around this year's event and share more information about our featured speaker today, Mr. Pooja Sankara. With that said, here's Rob Dillon.
Scott, thank you very much, sir. Good morning to all of our attendees today. Really excited about an opportunity to speak to you all today, and I'm really excited about the content that you are going to hear today from our presenter, Pooja. So basically, the Georgia Logistics Summit, this is our 9th year of this event. It is coming up May 16th and 17th at the Georgia World Congress Center. This is not only a regional and national leadership event of logistics, it's truly become a global event. Many of you are probably aware of Georgia's stature as the leading state to do business 4 years running. We are very proud of that, and logistics is a huge part of that, including the manufacturing and supply chain elements that we have here. Between the Port of Savannah, the world's busiest airport, a major highway infrastructure, and more railroad miles than anywhere else in the Southeast, we really are the capital of logistics, not only in the Southeast, but in the country as we grow. We are very excited about this year's summit. You can learn more at georgialogistics.com, so please go there. You can also go to summit.georgialogistics.com. Register for this event. It's only $120 for a day and a half of content from some of the best leaders in manufacturing, supply chain, and logistics, as well as logistics technology. We are going to be having the governor kick off day one, and we have Sandra McQuillan, who is the SVP of supply chain at Kimberly-Clark, who will be our keynote closing speaker on the second day. We're thrilled to have her. We're thrilled to have a female representing the industry as our keynote speaker, and think this is an amazing opportunity and a great spotlight on the city of Atlanta and the state of Georgia and what we bring to the table. You can, again, please go to georgialogistics.com to get more information. I'm really excited about what we're doing with Apex right now. I want to thank Scott and Chris and all of the leadership over there for really spearheading, growing our relationship with our organizations and with other organizations in the state to not only make the summit a great event, but to truly make Georgia the leader in logistics and logistics technology throughout the world. So thank you for, Scott, allowing us to be here today. Now I will kind of turn it over here to our speaker, Puga with Smart Gladiator. One of the cool things that we've added to the Logistics Summit this year is a technology showcase. This technology showcase is designed to allow early stage companies in the logistics technology space here in Georgia to present their companies to the attendees. They will have tables where they will be able to share with you what they're doing with their forward-thinking technology. As someone who's been in logistics only about 5 years, I often say I am way more interested in the technology of logistics than the execution of logistics. It is unbelievable the business intelligence, the analytics, and the mobile technology that we are taking advantage of here in Georgia to be leaders in this space. Obviously, folks like Puga and what they're doing at Smart Gladiator, working out of the ATDC, are really spearheading this, and I think what you're going to see today is an amazing presentation because I have actually gotten to see a sneak peek of it. Puga brings about 20 years of supply chain experience, certainly is an expert in all sorts of technology and systems and execution. Certainly is going to talk today about what mobile technology is doing to change our industry. They at Smart Gladiator are helping retailers, distributors, and all logistics service providers mobile enable their supply chain and operations processes. And this is an opportunity for you to hear not only what they're doing, but where the industry is going. So with that, I want to turn it over to our esteemed speaker today. Thank you so much for joining us, Puga. Please take it away.
Scott and Rob, thank you very much for the opportunity. It's a privilege and honor to present in front of this audience and help in any way we can from ATDC and from Smart Gladiator to help make this Georgia Logistics Summit a huge success. Thank you for the opportunity once again. So basically my story is, right now my role is co-founder of Smart Gladiator. So we are a innovative company that's based out of ATDC here, Advanced Technology Development Center. I finished my MBA with Georgia Tech. That was back in 2012. Before that, I spent 12 plus years with Manhattan Associates. That's where I learned this industry, both from a technology perspective and functional perspective. And then I got a chance to lead some large-scale programs with Hewlett-Packard, where I learned all the management and the complications that come with deploying or touching 50 plus, sometimes even 60, 70 plus systems at a time for rolling out capabilities. So I've, as part of all those experience, I've walked into so many distribution centers, so many different layouts, so many different systems, so many different functional problems. And we walk into a DC and do a performance analysis review, how we can help improve the process, how we can make life easier for not only the managers and the executives that are managing the facility, including the end users, right? So that's how we got started. So basically, at Smart Gladiator, what we do is, we mobile enable supply chain. We help, how can you power your supply chain with all the latest mobile tech that is available? For example, we, with our mobile devices, we do so many things. I mean, life has changed upside down. If you think about it, exactly what happened after 2007, 2008 timeframe, right? After the advancement in the mobile tech with Apple devices and Android devices, we are constantly sending text messages to our friends and family and coworkers. We are constantly taking pictures and sharing them with our friends and family and coworkers. We are making videos with our mobile devices, uploading them to YouTube, Facebook, social media sites and things like that, right? So bringing all those capabilities into the warehouse, into the supply chain, for the truck driver, anybody that's executing processes in the supply chain, and making life better, resulting in better collaboration, better data collection, just there's a lot of opportunity for improvement in supply chain. So that's the mission of Smart Gladiator. So my story is, when I was working for Manhattan Associates in 2001, I was helping a hardware distributor that's based out of Cincinnati, Ohio, roll out their WMS. And typically, we will, as a Manhattan team, will walk into a distribution center, understand the business, understand the process, understand the products, and then we'll design a end-to-end WMS, right, warehouse management system. So that system basically helps with inventory control, order fulfillment, end-to-end, everything. So like this, we were doing a deployment, and one of the most important thing that needs to be done, right? It's the inventory count that's loaded into the system needs to be 100% accurate. I mean, however sophisticated the system could be, it's garbage in, garbage out. We all know that. So it's very important that the inventory count that gets into the system when we turn on the system for the first time is accurate. So everything else works really, really well. So we will spend 2-3 days counting the whole warehouse, every single SKU, every single unit, making sure that's fully accounted for, making sure that's correctly loaded into the system. So when the user goes to pick the product in that location, the product is really there. That just adds a lot of value to get that first step really, really correct. So like this, I was counting products. I mean, no, I was actually a systems analyst that was supporting a WMS deployment in 2001. And then, I had some free time. Hey, can I help with counting? So I jumped into counting, and they gave me this big, bulky device with somebody else sweat on it. So I wiped it off and then started counting. It was so painful. I mean, there got to be a better way to do this. That's what I thought. And I was surprised to see, like this, I was doing so many implementations. And in 2010, I was doing another implementation in Ottawa, Canada, this time as a project manager. I was surprised to see the technology hasn't changed at all. That's when we thought, hey, there got to be a better way to do this, especially with this iPhone and Android devices with all the touchscreen and so many bells and whistles. We can make this better. So, and then I got a chance to do MBA with Georgia Tech, and one of the, the project with Georgia Tech of the MBA was this, hey, how about this, why can't we see if we can make this better? And we talked to some of the friends in our industry, and they said, wow, that sounds like a great idea. So we put a simple prototype together and then showed it to the friends in the industry and did some pilots, and they were like, wow, day one, they got at least 8% improvement in productivity. So that's how we started, and then we acquired customers, and then we are, we had some really good success stories where people attribute, at least 3 things. One is the hands-free nature of the technology. The 2 is the soft overlay keyboard, and the 3 is the FaceTime texting-based communication support. So that's how we got started, and we are 2016 we were top 40 innovative companies in Georgia. And we got traction from there. So today, we're going to talk about how you folks can leverage this mobile tech in your supply chain, right? And I'll start with some of the trends that are happening. We all are hearing, that stores are closing, because what's happened is with internet, with mobile tech, people are much more comfortable shopping from their computer at home or shopping from their mobile devices. Right. I mean, here you can see 2 stories. The Amazon woman is not the real Amazon woman with weapons and their tools, but she is a woman busy constantly at Amazon.com. Same thing. The local store has been already on sale on eBay. So that's how this online phenomenon is taking over the retail world. So Macy's has closed 68 of its stores. Limited has shut down all of its stores, and Polo Ralph Lauren is closing its store in the 5th Avenue. I mean, that's a flagship store. And Kenneth Cole has closed all of its stores except 2. And there are many in line that are waiting to get closed. I mean, just last week, you folks probably heard Route 21 has closed 400 out of its 1,100 stores. And I think it's BB or Bebe. So those guys have closed all their stores as well. So it just, a big paradigm shift is happening in the retail world, and that's impacting supply chain. And one of the big elephants in the room that nobody wants to talk about in any supply chain conversation is Amazon, right? Amazon is changing things, and we'll discuss some specifics. So that's what is happening in the retail world. So the next trend is, disruption is upon us. It really started with, industrial revolution. And then, the next big wave was the 1990, 2000 internet. And then 2007, 2008, that's the mobile tech. And then we are being told that there are at least another 3 or 4 major waves that are coming. In the next couple of years, it's going to be the Internet of Things. And then, the machine learning, artificial intelligence, deep learning, and then robotics, and then nanotechnology. All that is going to change everything big time, and we are being ushered into this smart machine age. And the skill set to survive that smart machine age is completely different from what we do today. And the world is going to look a lot different in the next 10 to 20 years. And even more, what the next thing that about being talked about is about 45 to 50% of the jobs are going to be eliminated. So it's all going to be, everything is changing. What we took for granted as, hey, this is how we do business, this is how we live our lives, this is how we got things done, are not relevant anymore. So, just simple examples are Uber and Airbnb and Tesla and, Facebook and things like that. So it's just, disruption is going on everywhere, and we got to be cognizant of that, right? So that's from a disruption perspective. And then, millennials, it just people are in general becoming much more technology savvy, much more technology dependent, much more introverted. People are happy with their mobile devices. They're constantly doing something with their mobile device. And I'll share a simple story. When we deployed our devices in one of our customer site, and there were two supervisors. There was an older gentleman that was supervising the day shift, and there was another younger millennial gentleman that was supervising the night shift. So the older gentleman, what he would do is, he would follow the users. The users would pick boxes in their, reach trucks. And then the older gentleman will follow them with his golf cart. And then he'll observe them and he'll give them feedback. Hey, this is how your ergonomics need to be. This is how you make your movement. And this is how you're pick. So his job is to make sure all his employees are doing really well and, producing the most and doing things optimally. So that was what he did. Whereas the millennial supervisor in the second shift, what he did was he gave one of our devices to the picker and said, hey, record yourself using this device, and then do it for 30 minutes, and then come back to me. I'll critique it by watching the video. So while this picker was doing that, the millennial supervisor, he went ahead and did some work, and then came back after 30 minutes. So this person, not only figured out a better way to do it, leveraging technology, but also got something else done during that time. So that's how these millennials think and operate. So it's important to understand how these folks operate. So as supervisors, as executives, we can leverage all those skill sets they bring to the table, right? So that's about millennials. So then the next big thing that's happening is everything is getting connected and everything is becoming smart. So that's the Internet of Things. So your refrigerator is going to remind you in the future in what on what the person needs to buy, and everybody, all these devices being connected, they're going to monitor us and give us all kinds of alerts and heads up as to how to prevent a fire or whatever additional information that would help us, right? So in a warehouse environment, the big thing is data collection. And data collection is not just scanning barcodes anymore. It includes multiple things, right? It's of course scanning barcodes from all these labels, and then also collecting data from the pictures that are taken. Also collecting data from the mobile devices, sensors from the mobile devices, right? For example, pedometers, accelerometers, how many steps your users are walking. How come just out of these 10 pickers, one picker alone is walking, let's say 1,000 steps or 10,000 steps, whereas everybody else is walking optimally. So that gives insight as to if your processes are really optimal or not. And then data from sensors mounted on trucks. It could be a tire sensor, it could be a temperature sensor, and it could be sensors from the warehouses. I know we are being asked to develop some interesting capabilities to solve other problems where these sensors could be used to make things optimal. And also think about all the data that's collected out of these sensors, and then how they can be leveraged to solve problems, gather insights, right? Not just doing data analytics for data analytics' sake, but really approaching it from a problem-solving perspective. So that's where this whole thing is going. And then we all know this big elephant, Amazon, right? Amazon is changing retail at lightning speed as we speak. Amazon has installed 46 DCs in the last couple of years, and all paid for in 1 year. And Amazon has changed the benchmark it takes only 20 minutes once an order is downloaded into the Amazon system to be shipped out of the facility. Even some of the best WMS do that taking 6 hours. So what's happening is with this new bar that Amazon has raised so high, everybody is retooling their software, retooling their systems, and that's giving rise to a new set of systems called WES and WCS, warehouse execution systems and warehouse control systems. I mean, they were there before, but they weren't just prominent. They were playing more as a backup for the WMS. The WMS would still will be the main driver, but the WES and the WCS would communicate with the material handling equipment and then do the thing. But now they are rising to prominence because the turnaround time produced is not enough. And also, so what is happening is because of this Amazon phenomenon, there are so many other small product vendors or product manufacturers that sell into consumer market. They are also being expected to meet the same level of service level agreements that are provided by Amazon. So what that happens is, if you want to really retain customer and offer the best customer service, you have to be on par with Amazon. So that's giving rise to this new opportunity for 3PL businesses. So basically 3PL business is booming. All the action that would happen in the retail store is being pushed to the back end, which is the warehouses and the people that wouldn't have, the small companies wouldn't have all this infrastructure are falling on this 3PL businesses, so they can support this. So that's why if you folks heard the news, Tompkins Associates, which is a consulting company, is starting this new venture called Monarch FX Alliance, and partnering with so many different software vendors and this service providers, and creating this post-click logistics service business. Even though they are actually a consulting business. So you folks also would have heard about Best Buy, right? I mean, back in 2012, 2013, Best Buy used to be called as the Amazon showroom. People would walk into Best Buy, check out the product, make sure the features are there, and look at the price, and then go back to Amazon and then place an order. But Best Buy is recovering slowly. They figured out we got to offer this Geek Squad services, computer repair services, and mobile. If you want to activate your mobile phone, you can go to Best Buy and do it. So things like that, where people have to go to talk to someone and get some physical help. So that's where we are going, and that's where Amazon is leading us. And I'm sure you folks all heard about the Amazon blimp. Basically, Amazon could create a warehouse in the sky, and then store all the products there, and then make drone deliveries all the way from the sky to our homes, through the drones. So that's where it's going. So we got to be cognizant of all these trends that are coming upon us, and see how we can prepare ourselves, or how we can position ourselves. So we are also modernizing our things and leveraging all these changes that are happening, and how we can at the end of the day make our business better, right? So this is how the DCs are running today. I mean, even 70-80% of the distribution centers are using these devices, and basically the technology is so old, and millennials are walking into the DC, and if you look at the supervisor, right, he's constantly chained to his desk. I mean, because the reason is, if he wants to look at the data or check something, status of a shipment, status of a load that's left the facility, the only way to do that is log into the computer at his desk. So he's constantly chained to his desk. That's where we come in, and this is our technology, where we provide wearables for operators, tablets for supervisors. So people are mobile, and people can use technology like FaceTime and texting, and communicate faster. They can take pictures and upload them to a server, and have those system of record in the form of pictures, and send pictures to their supervisors and ask them for help. It just makes things so much easier. And these are consumer devices. That is technology that we use to in our daily life. So they are ruggedized for warehouse use, and ruggedized, and also with a longer battery life and things like that. Basically, altered to make them work in a warehouse environment really efficiently. So that results in so many benefits. I mean, the training time is significantly reduced. People pick it up so fast, and simple troubleshooting things, people can do it themselves. Things like that, right? I mean, that's what we do. And with the tablets, the supervisors are mobile. I mean, if you call a supervisor today, asking for a status of a shipment, asking for something, the first response will be, hey, I'm somewhere doing this. Let me go back to my desk and then call you back. Because that's the only way they can access the data. But with tablets, the supervisor can look up the information that he needs right from where he is, and then answer the question, and still spend more time working with their employees, helping them troubleshoot their issues, or training them, or reprint labels, or things like that. So that's some of our devices. And then we also have another capability called LoadProof. Basically, what this is, image enabling the supply chain, because pictures and videos have taken over our lives so much, and it's natural to think, hey, why can't I take a picture of this exception? Why can't I take a picture of this job that I really did well? So if anybody asks that if there is a claim situation, I can show the picture and say, hey, I did my job correct, right? And that's exactly what we do here. And Kenco Logistics is a major customer of ours, and some of their customers have saved at least $10,000 in less than 3 months. And another customer has eliminated 95% of the customer claims. So like this, we have added a tremendous value. I mean, it's very simple. It's basically, in any scenario where there is a need for a picture, need for a evidence or proof, to show, hey, I did my job right. Or from a retail compliance perspective, I'm shipping a pallet, I'm shipping, bunch of loads to a retailer, where they're, being questioned, or they're being pointed out as to, hey, this is a non-compliant situation, so you're going to be given a certain chargebacks. So in those cases, people can take pictures of the shipment that left their facility, or take pictures of, hey, I complied with this specific requirement, right? And things like that they can do. So there is proof available, and all this sits in the cloud. So it makes it so easy. It's pretty much plug and play. They can just go to the website, download the app, and then register, and then start using right away. There is no infrastructure that's needed within the company. It's all out there, and it's all sitting in the cloud, and it can be shared with the customers and vendors and partners and anybody that's part of the supply chain so easily. And this has added tremendous value to our customers as well, and especially from a 3PL logistics perspective, and with the 3PL business booming, it's a great tool for 3PL vendors. So obviously, it's all easier said than done, right? I mean, it's so easy to talk about all these cool things and things that look really pretty, but the reality is, when the rubber hits the ground. So that's where a change is hard. But from our experience, from what we have done, and how we have been successful so far in deploying this new technologies in the DC. I mean, and supply chain is not a sexy place, right? I mean, retail is much more nicer. People would want to spend more time in a retail store because it's a fun place. It's a nice place. Whereas moving boxes behind doors, it's not fun, it's not sexy, and people are working sweating in a humid weather and things like that. Sometimes in Georgia it gets like that, and even in Texas. So change is hard, but change is getting easier if we can make the technology so easy. Leveraging the Apple's UI UX principles, make it intuitive. Make it leverage the technology that we have used in our daily life, right? I mean, touchscreen was not is not new now, but in 2007 it was so new, and the way Apple and Android have deployed the touchscreen and leveraged the touchscreen, that's what we bring to the enterprises. So if we follow the right approach, and if we make it so intuitive, make our software or the UI that we build for our apps, so intuitive, it gets easier. So that's something to keep in mind from a change management perspective. And then moving on to the next couple of technologies that I'm just touching upon a little bit is virtual reality and augmented reality. So with this mobile tech getting so popular, and so many capabilities are within our reach right now, right? One of the things is this virtual reality, and this could be very useful for training. So what that means is, for example, if you have a new employee that's learning to drive a forklift, and if you have a new employee that's learning to drive a truck, it would be so much easier for him to go through a end-to-end training session through this tool, rather than jumping on the new forklift, and then obviously nobody gets on a bicycle and then drives on from that point day one, right? I mean, everybody has to fall once or twice before they get really good at it. So that's where this technology is very helpful. People can spend time, become really good at it, maneuver it in so many different ways. So be in the real world virtually, get trained themselves, and then take on the next set of tasks, while whether it's driving the truck on the road or driving a forklift in the warehouse. So that's one opportunity where this technology could make a big difference. Or you might be surprised, we might be able to take all our VR gear, connect that with our mobile devices, and then shop at Amazon.com. Basically, we can check the fit of the clothes and the shoes that are sold in Amazon.com through this virtual world. That is not very far from where we are today. So that is from a virtual reality perspective. The next one is augmented reality. So let me show a quick video. This is where the world is going.
I need your clothes, your boots, and your motorcycle. I need your clothes, your boots.
So I'm going to back up a little bit. So that's where we are going. So basically what's going to happen is we are going to have augmented reality glasses in our warehouses, where supervisors or executives, managers can wear the glass and then walk around in the distribution center and be able to pick up vital information, right? KPIs. Hey, how is this employee doing? What is his performance percentage for the day? Where are my broken or messed up locations? What are the locations I need to fix? Where are the shipments that are delayed? Where are the cartons that are already delayed, should have been shipped yesterday or day before yesterday? All these exceptions. So instead of going through a report, sitting at his desk, whether it's a supervisor or a warehouse manager or a executive, poring over all these spreadsheets, what is going to happen is he'll be given a glass, and with that glass, by doing a walkthrough for like 30 minutes, he'll be able to figure out all the top issues that need to be addressed. So that's where the world is going. And I know, I mean, people are already experimenting with vision picking and augmented reality picking and things like that. So that's all based on reducing the training time and making the UI UX so easy. So anybody that is walking down the street can walk into the distribution center and perform picking with very less training time, right? So that's where augmented reality could be very beneficial. It's all making information consumption so easy and so fast. So, we don't go through this long training curve. So that's where I see this mobile tech going, and that's how we can leverage some of the tools that are available in this technology in the warehouse or outside the warehouse while executing the supply chain. So I'll be happy to answer any questions from the audience at this point.
Great. Thanks, Puga. I appreciate you sharing today. So we've got, to our audience, I've got 11:34 Eastern time. We're going to take the next 10 minutes or so and pose questions to Puga. So if you have any questions or if you have observations on Puga's perspective that he shared today, please use the chat bar, and I'll get notification of that, and then I'll pose that to Puga. So first question comes from Sarah. Do you have any suggestions or best practices on effective implementation and adoption of new technology?
Yes. That's a great question. I think what in my experience, right, what really works well is always follow a problem-solving approach. So it's not new technology for new technology's sake. It's not doing something for just for the sake of doing it. It's okay. What is the problem we are trying to solve here, right? So get the gist of the problem really, really well, and identify 1 or 2, 3 pain points that you folks want to hit with that objective, right? So once you folks identify 1 or 2 or 3 pain points, then see if you can, without doing anything, without developing anything, without the startup world, we call that as a vaporware. Just build a simple vaporware and see if you can, do some kind of a pilot. Very, very simple. I mean, that's what exactly we did. LoadProof was actually developed in partnership with Kenco Logistics. I mean, we had a different version of a picture-taking app, and we partnered. Actually, Kenco Logistics reached out to us, and they said, "Hey, could you help us with this? I mean, we have something similar, that would make our life easier and add tremendous value to our customers." So, they had already did a pilot. They tested the idea and the problem and the solution by doing a very, very simple pilot. Just build a simple vaporware. Does it make sense, right? Hey, are we solving the right problem? And does the solution really, help people with adoption? I mean, so do that simple exercise first. Once you folks, and then, talk to as many users as possible, end users as possible. Hey, am I really solving the problem correctly? Is that the problem that we need to solve? Or is the problem something else completely different? So once you folks do that pilot and get some data out of that pilot and then say, okay, this makes a lot of sense. Okay, now let's go ahead and build it, right? And that's, here at ATDC, they have a lot of curriculum and sessions where we can learn about this problem solving approach. So, that's what I would say. I mean, it's always about focusing on the problem, be laser focused on the core of the problem, and, solve that with a simple pilot, and then build something bigger, or, partner with somebody like us and go from there. That's what I would recommend. Yeah.
Great. Thanks, Puga. Great question, Sarah. Thank you for sharing that with us. Puga, next question comes from Jerome. He asked, how are you seeing organizations address technology needs from a talent perspective?
That's a great question. Talent is tough. I mean, getting the rock star developer and rock star whatever expert in that specific discipline is tough. I mean, we fight that battle daily. I think a couple of things. What we have tried is, even though obviously in-house training, right? I mean, find the best people and find the people that are passionate about their work and the technology, and then train them in-house and give them specific projects. And I mean, obviously, it's easier said than done. Give them areas that they are passionate about, and have them test it out. I mean, it's a they also have to enjoy it. Initially, it might look very attractive and very rosy, but after going through the grind and there may be more grit that is required to survive that learning curve. So I mean, I think that's true across all the organizations. Either, we got to find the best people within our organization and train them into new technologies, and help them find that match, right? I mean, that's where the leader role comes in. I mean, as a leader, you're not just getting work done, but also mentoring the employee, helping them find their a niche or whatever they're passionate about, so they enjoy doing it, and as a team we are all producing great results at the end of the day. That's one way. And the other way, obviously, hiring people, and making them go through the right set of tests and right set of qualifying them for the role. I think that's a challenge we are going to deal with on a daily basis across the board. It just whatever works for that specific context and situation is what we got to go with. I feel the pain, and we are going through that on a daily basis ourselves. Yeah.
Great question. I appreciate your perspective there. Puga, I like your notion there of developing your current team members, training them on new skills, especially those that they're passionate about. That's a terrific. I think it's an often overlooked aspect of talent acquisition is we're always looking for talent outside our four walls when we've got terrific talent on our current team that could do a wide variety of new things, new skills, new initiatives, new projects. So Jerome, great question, and Puga, thanks for your perspective. So I want to pose this next question to you, Puga. During our email exchange earlier this morning, you mentioned that you were at the ATDC this morning, the Advanced Technology Development Center at Georgia Tech. Can you share a little bit about what that does and how vital of a resource that is for the technology market here in Georgia?
Yes, absolutely. Thank you for the question. I mean, I should have probably spent more time during my introduction talking about ATDC. So ATDC is basically Advanced Technology Development Center. So, my story, how I came across ATDC was, when I joined my MBA program, I told my professor, hey, my goal for the MBA program is, when I want to, when I finish the MBA program, I want to have my own company with at least 1 or 2 customers. That was the goal that I joined the MBA program with. So at that time, the professor said, wow, this is a great goal. And this is exactly, why we have this MBA program, Management Technology course in Georgia Tech. And then he introduced me to someone at ATDC. And that's when I walked into this ATDC and I learned about it. So ATDC is, with Georgia Tech, we all know it's a very, very reputed university. There is a lot of research work going on. There's a lot of great, amazing technology development projects that are being done here at Georgia Tech. And there's a lot of research that the professors are doing. And obviously, if they just stay as research, it's not a big benefit. So we got to commercialize that technology and bring that technology to the market, right? And these are professors that are, very, very PhDs and highly scientific, highly technology, with very core technology background. And they need help to understand the market, right? Understand the problem that needs to be solved. How can this technology be, made use of in a real world scenario, in a, distribution center, or it could be in a truck, or it could be in a, somewhere else, right? So ATDC helps with all that. So while these folks are coming out of their PhD program with this great research work, there are folks in ATDC that would help with, hey, okay, what is the problem you're trying to solve? How do you go about discovering if there are customers for this solution? So we completely take a step back and say, okay, let's not worry about the solution, right? Let's understand the problem first. So it's a great organization to help with commercializing technologies that are developed at Georgia Tech. So that's the core. My story is, I came from the supply chain background, and I had this idea, and I kind of experienced the pain myself, and I've seen that in many distribution centers. So when I explained this problem, it was a great fit. And actually, during my MBA program, I worked with another entrepreneur here. And this entrepreneur was exactly like me, had a great dream and amazing, vision and amazing goal. And he was struggling to, it's just, it's giving birth to the baby. It's not easy, right? You have to go through the pain and the, because that's how giving birth to anything new is. And this gentleman was going through that pain, and I helped him. I mean, as on behalf of him, I went to, I knocked on doors of property managers and asked them, hey, does it make sense? Do you guys have this problem? Can we help you with this, solution? So that's where I learned, how to build a company and what are some of the core things that you have to focus on to, come up with a really, really good product that solves a specific problem for consumers or, companies or anybody else. So they're willing to pay for that product, right? So that's what ATDC helps with, and there are some amazing technology companies out here. Everybody, and it's what is even more exciting for me is to see the vision and the excitement that these entrepreneurs bring. There is nothing, and they have this idea in their head, and they, with so much belief and faith, they work very hard and then bring that product into the market and then make it a success. And it, obviously, it doesn't happen on the first iteration. It takes a few iterations. We talk to the customers, learn from the pilots that we do. So I mean, ATDC is a great catalyst to make that process so easy. I mean, imagine doing that sitting in your basement or sitting in your garage, all by yourself, figuring it out, right? So that's what ATDC helps with, and I'm very happy to be part of this ATDC, and we get a lot of help from ATDC in that front.
Great, I appreciate your thoughts on the ATDC there, Puga. Our next question comes from Jose, and as Rob Dillon mentioned on the front end, Puga will be exhibiting his company Smart Gladiator at the summit. So Jose asks, what will you be sharing at the summit?
Oh, in summit we have a couple of things. One is we are going to, I think we are part of the showcase. So we'll have a booth type of environment, and we'll answer any questions that folks have, and we'll be happy to showcase some of the devices that we deploy in the distribution centers. And the other session we are part of is Tech for DCs, technology for DCs. What are some of the new tools that we can deploy in distribution center and add value? Right, and we also are talking along with our customer Kenco Logistics, VP of Innovation R&D from Kenco Logistics. Christy Montgomery is also part of the panel. So she'll share perspectives from a customer perspective, how they're taking advantage of this LoadProof tool and image enabling the supply chain, and how they've added value to their customers. And we will share our perspective on mobile tech and how we have, it's about solving the problem. Anybody else that has a problem, will have more insights on how we can help. Yeah.
Great. Thank you, Puga. And great question, Jose. We hope to see you at the summit. So we're going to wrap up our Q&A session at this point. But before we do want to personally invite all of our audience members to join us for the Georgia Logistics Summit, which is on May 16th and 17th. And as Rob mentioned earlier, for more information or to register, please visit summit.georgialogistics.com. We'll also make sure we provide links and contacts and the follow-up information that will go out to all of our registrants as a follow-up to this webinar. So you're not going to want to miss the outstanding industry event that is the summit, that will showcase, the best in logistics that Georgia has to offer. Okay, so we're going to be concluding our session today on a few final items. First, again, the PDF version of the presentation and a recording will go out to each registrant. You can also find the recording as a podcast on iTunes. Secondly, don't just come out to the Georgia Logistics Summit, but also join APIX Atlanta as we host a 2-hour networking event on the evening of May 16th at the Georgia World Congress Center. We're going to include a link to that event as well in the follow-up information that will go out for your convenience. Next, we hope that you'll tune in for our next APIX Southeast District webinar series event, where we're going to be featuring 2 Georgia Tech students and entrepreneurs, Sharu Thomas and Sarthik Srinivas, which will be talking about augmented reality in the supply chain, a topic that Puga touched on today. That event will be May 24th at 12 noon. We're going to be featuring Sharu and Sarthik. Details on the webinar can be found at apixsoutheast.org. As always, feel free to reach out to me if there's anything we can do from an APIX perspective to serve as a resource for you and your organization. Puga, before we conclude, any last thoughts today?
Oh, thank you very much for the opportunity. I think those were some great questions from the audience, and please, feel free to reach out to me, puga@smartgladiator.com, if there is anything else I can help with. And thank you very much for the opportunity, Scott and Rob. It's a privilege and honor to be, presenting this event.
Great. So again, we'd like to give a big thanks to both Puga Sankara and Rob Dillon for joining us today. Of course, a big thank you to our audience for participating. So on behalf of the Apex Atlanta chapter, this is Scott Luton concluding today's webinar event, wishing you all a successful week. We hope to reconnect again with you soon. Thanks, everybody.